Local government employees have been reduced. How many fewer police officers are there in the state now, and how many fewer professional firefighters are there in the state?
Well, the Bureau of Labor Statistics doesn't break the numbers out that way. But what we can tell you from our experience is that 2/3 of all local government funding or government dollars spent are spent on safety services. I would be willing to bet that those numbers apply to the job loss numbers as well.
Can you tell us how much your membership has dropped?
Our membership has dropped a couple thousand people, but we haven't got rid of any members who've been laid off. We continue to maintain them on our rolls.
And Jim, kind of the same, and they're just running short through attrition, not being replaced. And again, in my jurisdiction, we were nearly 100 firefighters short until this last class just came out and was going to get laid off. Warren, Hamilton just laid off 6. There were already shorts. Middletown's again running short. We've had some help in areas of federal grants, but those are running out as well. But we think it's been a promise and a covenant with the citizens of Ohio that these local government funds are coming back, should be coming back for vital services, and there's not even any discussion of restoring $1.
What are the reasonings you're getting from lawmakers and the governor's office about why they are choosing to go the way they're going with their spending and the tax cuts versus doing more to restore local governance?
Well, there hasn't been any dialogue. We're in the Statehouse every day. You guys see us there. And when we ask for restoration of local government funds, it's not even on the table, not up for discussion. Just not.
Non-starter.
Not talking about it. If we thought we had a legitimate chance to win a legislative restoration, we'd be talking to them instead of talking to you guys. It's quite frankly not going to happen. And the only way it will happen is if the people they represent back in Warren and in Steubenville and across this state make it happen. They need to pressure their legislators and the governor to restore the funding.
The other side of this says there are just way too many local government offices that these services can be provided more efficiently. How do you respond to that?
Well, we're all about efficiency. We're not opposed to efficiency. But when you remove $1 and you remove a person, you're removing a service. So the services still have to be provided. People still call 911 and expect a police officer or a firefighter to show up, whether that's from a consolidated agency or a city or a county that provides it now, or a township. So the dollars that get spent in local government are spent on services, and less dollars mean less services.
Well, again, he hit the nail on the head. 911 calls and other calls for service in local communities aren't going down. But I can tell you in 5 neighborhoods today in Cincinnati, they don't have a fire company staffed in that neighborhood. Warren, Hamilton, Middletown, all across this state. So that's where we should be sitting down with our legislators instead of getting, that's a non-starter. We've all had that discussion. We should be sitting down and discussing fairness and what's the priority for citizens in Ohio.
I guess that argument carries weight if the work is going down. But the work's not going down. You can talk to the chief, but in the city of Marion, burglaries went from 100 a year to 300 to 600. The work's not going down. The work's not going away. But instead of having 70 guys to do it, now we have 42.
How much funding would you need to be able to operate at an adequate level? I know you said that you don't even need a full restoration, but you're looking at this point just for anything.
Well, anything's better than where we are now. I don't know if you can quantify it by saying, well, if we had 100 million, we'd be okay. But what we can quantify is every dollar lost is a loss of service, and every dollar gained is additional service that we can provide to the citizens. And that's what government is for, right? Government was formed to provide protection for their citizens. And that's what we do every day. And we don't do it as well as we could, because the promises that were made from the 1930s all the way through have been broken, and have no end in sight in ending that disparity.
Well, I would answer that this way. no scientific data necessarily like we found in, just racking up the numbers, but the first 50% cut, we got kind of through that, everybody's clawing their way, we kind of leveled out. This second 50% cut has really demonstrated that, so I don't know if the first 50% cut we could have lived with, and maybe if they restored 50%, once again, we would get back to that level where everybody kind of clawed their way up, but I can just tell you the level of frustration, for lack of a better term, and Marion, and you can certainly talk about that. I don't know if that restored, what that restored in exactly. They can speak to that, but certainly there is a level here that we could all probably say, you know what, but we all have made sacrifices, and now it's time to restore so that one entity, being local governments, aren't taking the full brunt of these budget